When the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was first announced, I was very skeptical. Wes Ball doesn't have the very best track record as a director. He's done the very mid Maze Runner films, a few shorts, and that's it. And I loved the previous trilogy. They're so well directed, so well written, and have some of my all-time favorite characters. I even keep this War for the Planet of the Apes poster in my office. Although if you were someone who didn't know what Planet of the Apes was, you'd probably think this is some kind of weird propaganda. But those films ended in such a beautiful way that I wasn't sure if there was more story to tell. I wasn't sure if Wes Ball could live up to Rupert Wyatt or Matt Reeves, and I wasn't sure if Planet of the Apes could continue as one of the best film franchises of all time. But now, I am sure. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is amazing, and I'm gonna explain why. The story of Kingdom is a lot more different than I thought it was going to be. Based on the trailers, I thought the movie was going to be a reimagining of the original Apes film with Charlton Heston, but it's really not that at all. And I can't touch on that more without dipping into spoilers, but the film has an interesting conflict between the apes and the human characters. The story is set many decades after the Caesar trilogy, long after humanity collapsed, but still, humans and apes are fighting over who this planet really belongs to. It feels like a natural extension to the story of the first trilogy, and it makes for an interesting character dynamic between Noah and May. The film also explores how Caesar's story has become history in this world. His story has become a way of life for some apes and a flat-out religion to others. And it's really cool to see these new characters' perspectives on the Caesar lore and how that affects each character. Raka tries to live like Caesar and teaches Noah about the history of apes and humans, whereas Proximus Caesar idolizes different history like Caesar's, like the ancient Romans, and warps that knowledge into making himself king of the apes. It's really fascinating how the ancient history of the previous trilogy drives the story of this new film. I also really enjoyed some of the action. I wouldn't call this film an action movie. It certainly has less action than Dawn or War, but there's still a lot of really intense fight scenes, thrilling chase sequences, and some exhilarating moments of adventure. I especially love the scene in the field where May is running for safety as that big, beefy, heavily armored feral silverback gorilla chases her. I think as humans, we all have a natural fear of being chased by gorillas, and this scene perfectly captures that. Although I will say, outside of that scene and the big sequence at the end of the film, I don't think the action is all that memorable, especially when compared to the previous trilogy. I mean, really, nothing comes close to Koba charging into battle on horseback, double fisting 2 LMGs like it's Modern Warfare 3. But I will say the characters are really well done. Noah is a solid protagonist. He's just a young lad who's forced into this grand adventure where he has to learn the realities of this world. And he has a really interesting arc of growing from a young boy to a man and a leader. He's a very sympathetic main character, has some really funny moments, and is well acted by Owen Teague. Another interesting aspect of his character is how he may or may not be a descendant of Caesar. I mean, he looks very similar to Caesar, but the film never mentions the possible lineage, which is cool because it doesn't affect the story very much, but it allows the audience to theorize and come up with cool ideas of the greater lore, Planet of the Apes lore. I also like May. Her motivations are understandable, which makes her actions in the film make sense, and she does a good job at representing the human side of this big conflict. And I love Raka. He has interesting morals, he has strong narrative relevance, and he's just really funny. It's a shame he never got to meet Maurice. They would have been buds. But then there's Proximus Caesar. Boy, oh boy, Proximus Caesar. I think we can already call him iconic. Everything about him is epic and well done. His motivations, his story, his drip.
This is maybe Prada.
Seriously, look at this ape. The crown, the chain, the skirt. That's how you put an outfit together. But seriously, he's such a devious villain and the perfect obstacle for our main characters to try and overcome. And Kevin Durand's performance is insane.
You must tell me, or actually you must tell Noah what he wants to know before I ask you some questions. Now sing me a song.
In a perfect world, him and Austin Butler will be fighting over a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. But I do have to say, while the heroes and villains of this film are fantastic, they obviously don't compare to the greatness of Caesar and Koba. I know it's a little unfair to compare them to some of the greatest characters in all of film, but it's really hard not to. I mean, Koba has been a Twitter meme all week. Koba should be in every movie. Geez, I wonder what the quotes are gonna look like. You're chill. What else we have? Oh no. Then I'll see you again. Why can't you just be normal? Dreams. Yeah, with Barbie and Ken, of course, gotta have it. Monkey. You have my sword, you have my bow, and my axe, and my gun. Doesn't even say anything. He's just gun. You look lonely. I can fix that. It's so stupid. I love it so much. What kind of ape are you? Oh, this guy replied with the sunglasses. Yes. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good at all. Oh, if you know, you know, I guess. Yes. For the Republic. Oh, but -1. Yes, the bully Maguire. Oh, this is the best thing ever. Also, the special effects are still astounding. Weta FX returned to do all the CGI and motion capture work, and this movie looks spectacular. Every chimpanzee, gorilla, and orangutan looks amazing. The film really brought these creatures to life, and I really like this movie's approach to the apes. Unlike the previous trilogy, every ape now talks, but they don't start acting like humans all of a sudden. They still make ape noises and walk, run, jump, and climb like apes. It's just really impressive how well these films capture the mannerisms of these real-life creatures. But really, my favorite part about this movie is the fact that it even exists. The first Planet of the Apes movie released 56 years ago, and this franchise is still just as relevant now as it was back then. I love that this movie is doing well at the box office. I love that people are talking about it over social media, and I love that people are swarming back to the movie theaters again. With some of the recent flops, it's nice to know that with both this film and Dune Part 2, movies are in fact back. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a fantastic film and a triumph of cinema, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And if you want to watch my review of another great 2024 film, click here to watch my review of Dune Part 2, or you can click here and watch the video that YouTube picked out just for you. Yeah, these are both 2 good videos. You should click on one of them. Either one. They're both pretty solid. You're gonna have a good time, I promise.